Hi, everyone. Welcome to Flourish by Design TV. We're back as promised. I'm so excited to have you all here with us. And today is our special show that we have with the beautiful Katarina Rossi from Melbourne, my great friend. And we are launching our new program together, which is called Beautifully Confident. So I'd love to introduce you to Katarina. Katarina, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Katarina, and yes, this is our beautiful program that we're doing now called Beautifully Confident, and I'm excited to get started and talk about all things beautiful.
Oh, excellent. And apologies for last week because we had planned this for last week and the tech didn't work. So we decided we'd do a proper podcast. And for people who know me, I run Flourish by Design and I had always run this podcast called Flourish by Design TV. So we decided to launch it on and have a proper full on podcast with you all. So, guys, so I just want to introduce myself because I know that, Katrina's people don't know me and vice versa. So my name is Caroline Murphy. I'm the founder of Flourish by Design. I'm a design lecturer at Griffith College as well. I've got a master's in education, learning and development, and I specialize in developing women and their confidence from the inside out. So I'm from Dublin in Ireland, and I met Katarina when I was running a branding workshop in Bali about 2 years ago. And we met and we just hit it off straight away. It was just fantastic, loads in common, and it's just been a friendship ever since. So it's been fantastic, And now we've talked about this idea for such a long time, and it's beautiful for it to come into reality today. So, Katrina, would you like to talk to?
I will. I'll
your
introduce
background.
So well, you know who I am. I have been I started off in fashion. So I was working in fashion. I was a fashion designer. I actually did haute couture. So I worked on the body. And then I transitioned over to being a makeup artist. So I pretty much worked on women every single day, every single moment of the day. So their body and their face, worked with color, worked with makeup, absolutely loved it. I've done that for over 2.5 decades now, so 25 years plus, which is super, super exciting. And I learned so much from these women. It's like I'm going to talk about makeup more because that's where I spent most of my time with women and really getting to know and understand how we think. Even men. I'm not going to exclude men because I've worked with men when I've done photo shoots. So just give you a little bit more. I've done photo shoots, filming, TV, catwalk, and wedding makeup. So I worked with a lot of different types of people. So when they sat on my makeup chairs, some of the things that they told me, it was like counseling.
Yeah.
So they talked a lot about their insecurities, what was their issue about themselves. It's really bizarre. We've got this knack of picking on ourselves and not really seeing the true beauty that we really are. So we always look at the negatives. So, I always hear people say, what would you tell your younger self? So tell your younger self that you are beautiful. And every part of you is beautiful. And every part of you, everybody appreciates and love if you love and appreciate yourself. So that was something I learned over the years. I could almost write a book about it. It's incredible.
It's incredible because it's like, again, the psychology of it. And I know my daughter is a nail artist as well. She decided to have my nails done. And she's the same. I mean, I was like going to counselling. I mean, it's funny because in our background, my family, there's a lot of counselling. But my mum, we were creative on the other side. And I said to Lauren, I want to do psychology. And then she ended up doing the nail art and she's doing jewelry design. But I said, you're actually better. You're holding somebody's hand and you're listening to all of their heart and what's happening themselves, but you sense them out feeling beautiful, at the other side of it. And for me, it's a psychology as well of branding, because I working with branding for so many decades, but working for corporate branding, and I got really disillusioned, Kat, because I realized that I was part of an industry that was actually making women feel bad about themselves, and that, all these brand messaging and the way you should look and all the expectations that are put upon women, it's massive pressure, and it feeds that negative bias that we have about ourselves. And it's equally for myself, because I remember the story of even really why I get passionate about this for our why is I remember waking up one morning and like looked into the mirror, and all I could see was, as my mother would say, an ashen face, a grey. My face was grey. I just had I was lifeless, even though I had all the expectations that, society had said I should be. I was educated, I had my own business, I had two beautiful kids, I had a lovely house, I had all the things that you were supposed to accumulate that, the world would say would make you happy. But I was totally disconnected from myself. I didn't know who I was. I had lost myself in my roles. And I started to question, like, how can I reconnect with that beautiful, vibrant young girl that I used to be before all of those things that, were layered on top of me, I guess.
Mm.
And, the performance piece. So, we were talking about for Beautifully Confident, going from performance to presence. So I started to get, how I transformed was through redesigning myself, my brand, my own personal brand, and looking at who am I in color, and I started looking at my personal brand colors. And I think that's how what we connected on, wasn't it?
With color. Yeah, color. Definitely color.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And that passion for color, and then the understanding of, I think I reconnected with myself. I definitely, through reconnecting with what I love, the colors that I love, and how the colors made me feel, and how when I was wearing these colors that I loved, that I was expressing myself in a more authentic way, and that's why we had those. I went to Melbourne then was a year and a half ago, for another podcast I was recording with another friend of mine, Kim Dunlop, and we met and we went for dinner, and then we stayed up about 2:00 in the morning going into our backstory, and there's so many similar patterns, wasn't there?
Lots of similar patterns. Yes, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, you had your transformation and trying to find yourself. It's really funny because I knew who I was, and I knew that at a very young age, at 13, I knew that color and clothing could change the way I felt, because I was such a shy child. I'm an introvert extrovert, if that makes sense. I'm an introvert until you get to know me, and then when I'm comfortable, I'm that extrovert. But the way I showed it was through what I was wearing and the colors. And then obviously I got into makeup, and I learned how to do that through makeup. But for me, I did lose myself. So I was working in makeup and, talking on stage. I did a lot of talks and going around and talking to lots of groups of women. So there was big rooms of women talking about makeup and all of those things. But then a turn happened in my life 10 years ago, and I found myself lost. It was a big event for me. And I know it's similar to you, and there's a lot of similar women out there. And, it was... My marriage failed after 25 years. Everything changed. And I lost myself. I lost who I was. I lost that bubbly personality that people knew me as. I didn't feel confident anymore. I was fine to get on stage and chat to anybody and talk to anybody and do all of those things, but I kind of went into my shell and had to work my way out. It's really funny when you have a turn of event in your life, and it can be anything. It doesn't need to be a marriage breakup. It could be anything. It could be a work thing, having children, losing who you are as a mother, because you do that. As a mother, you lose yourself. So, and then coming back and finding out who you are. So with me, it was coming back and finding out who am I?
Yes.
It's funny that you say that, because that's something you talk about with your students when you work with your students. Who am I? And I had to re-find, who is Katerina? What is she about? And I rediscovered myself all over again and rebuilt the person that I am. And I love colour. And that's where we go. I love fashion. I love colour. I love makeup. I love skincare. I love the outer part of a person. But what I love the most is listening to the inner self-talk, that little community that talks on your shoulder. Listening to that and going, okay, let's flip it around. Let's change that negative self-talk that we have within ourselves and turn it to something beautiful and complimentary and positive, that when we wake up in the morning and we look in the mirror, we're like, I love myself.
Yeah, you love looking forward to getting ready and stuff. That's the change for me, because before, I remember my daughter, she used to be getting ready and everything, and I'd say, I go, oh God, I'd say I have to get ready. Or you know that when people say you're going somewhere and you go, oh, what am I going to wear? Oh, jeez, that dread, like, gee, what am I going to wear? And I used to be like that. I was like, nearly didn't want to go because you had to decide you had to wear something, and that was a real telltale sign that I was disconnected from myself, my own style. I lost a sense of my own style, and I just given myself away. I was very much a pleaser, so it was everybody else's needs first, and I was bottom of the list. And then when you'd be asked to go anywhere or do anything, I was lost. I didn't have the confidence when it came to my image. So, but I noticed when I started, working with women and big corporate women, I had redone that for myself, and I was feeling really good about myself. And as we talked about before, I created this workshop for my students, which was called Color Me Beautiful, and started working with the colors from the inside. So getting the students connected to their personal brand, and getting close to their own, who they were from the inside out, their characteristics, and then transforming that into color. And then that had great effect with the younger students, which in their 20s. Then I started working with corporates, big corporate women groups of women online, and noticing the same issue where the women and professional women, Kat, had loads of experience, like of our age, from 40 plus, we'll say, loads of experience, loads of skills, talents, at a high-end senior level management, and just had that same issue, and just looked disconnected and looked grey and looked like they hadn't looked after themselves, and they didn't know where to start even. And I was working with them on the inside, so I was getting them to do exactly what you're saying, flip the script, and working up with their confidence on the inside. But that's when I reached out to you and I said, there's something there we need to do around image, because it's not okay just to do it on the inside is fantastic, and there's psychology, but I want to see that expressed on the outside as well, So that's the expression, the inner clarity and the outer expression of who we truly are, so we can show up in our true colors. So that's why we've gotten really passionate about this.
I love it, because how you said, we work on the inside, but if we don't follow through on the outside, it just doesn't really work. It's the same way working on the outside. If you're not believing it on the inside, it's just you're not being true to yourself. You're masking yourself. It's a mask, and you're playing dress up, basically. You're not being the real true person that you really are. So when someone meets you, it's like, I don't know if I trust that person, because they're not feeling it inside. But when you feel it inside, as we know, when you feel like the part, it just shines through, and then you're dressing up for that true inner person that you really, really are, and you come across being very confident, very authentic, and very honest. So depending on what you do, especially because you've worked with corporate women, and I've also worked with many different types of women corporate as well, it's, the story, the saying, when you meet someone for the first time, they make a judgment of you in the first 7 seconds. And if you are with your inner self and your outer self is one, and you are true to yourself, that first 7 seconds, the person will go, oh, yeah, I really like you. Really nice person. So it's getting rid of the mask, because it has to work from the inside and out, and not just the outside and in, and vice versa. They come together.
Yeah. And that's authenticity,
That's right. Yes. Yeah. A lot of women forget that's what they need to do. They think by just getting dressed up, they're authentic. No, it shows you. So,
and I've done that, definitely, because the way you kind of think, oh, I don't know what to wear, but I'll buy this outfit, expensive outfit, you know what I mean? And it's a certain label, and I feel like, okay, this is the right thing to wear, something like years back, and you're kind of, the clothes are wearing you, you're not wearing the clothes. So you get like that. Yeah, you turn up and you're like,
it's controlling you.
You're not comfortable. You're wearing these really comfortable heels, and you're not really loving the style, or this is a trend or something. But you're like kind of cardboard cutout or something walking around.
And when you're cardboard, I mean, I'm sure there's been many women out there that have gone out because they've bought these beautiful heels and they're gorgeous, and then they go out, and after, I don't know, halfway through the night, it's like, I can't walk. My feet hurt. Why did I wear these heels?
Trying to pull in the stomach.
We've all done it. And it's like, was that really the right thing to do? Maybe that wasn't right for you. If you had worn a pair of shoes that you were comfortable in, you would have been comfortable all night and it wouldn't have mattered. So that's just one example. I mean, there's lots of examples.
But we've all done that, you know?
Yeah.
And then trends, following trends, you know, especially when I was in my 20s as a designer, you know, it was very trendy, like, especially working in a design studio, you know, you have to wear the latest trends. And sometimes the trends don't suit you, you know?
No, they don't.
You know, they don't go with your body shape. You know, like I was always kind of voluptuous and with thick curly hair and the big, you know, like just bubbly personality, and then trying to fit into something that was like, you know, not suited my shape.
You know what I love, Caroline?
Yeah.
I love the fact that right now, in the year that we're in this you know, decade, I suppose, there is no trend. It's what suits you. So, you know, you can go back in time and look at 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know the trends because everybody, it was like a cookie cutter. It's like what you said. You had to fit into this, but it wasn't really you. The good thing right now is that we have so many styles and designs, and then we've got the upcycling as well. Lots of people like to do upcycling stuff, and everybody's starting to reconnect with themselves and looking at what does work for you. So it doesn't matter if you're wearing skinny jeans, flared jeans, or bootleg jeans. You know, it's according to your body shape, like what you were saying. It's got to work for your body shape, and you have to be 100% comfortable in them, because when you're comfortable, you rock it. Now, I was telling you the story about last night when I went out. I wanted to wear my riding boots. I just wanted to wear my riding boots with my beautiful, gorgeous, bronze, silky pleated skirt, and I thought, I'm rocking this, and I made it work. Because the hills, I'm like, no, I can't do the hills today. It's the riding boots. And when you're confident and you're rocking it, you can carry it off. It just works.
And if you're like beautifully confident, it's a feeling. It's not how you look, it's how you feel, isn't it? So you're feeling beautifully confident in yourself, in your own skin, you're turning up and you're 100%, and that's your natural confidence, because just being confidently you're being yourself. That's the secret to confidence. People think confidence is like something that you put on, but it's actually not what you put on. It's who you are, getting closer to who you truly are. And then you become radiant. It's like, you know, that radiance of. And there was a beautiful girl I met a few weeks ago, actually, Katrina, at a networking event, women's networking event I'm part of. And I just thought that she was a total testament to this. She was a larger lady, and she had her hair cut up really, really short. She had the most vibrant presence about her. She was absolutely radiant. She had gorgeous eyes. She wore really strong kind of eye makeup. Blue kind of eye makeup. It was just gorgeous on her. She wore this fabulous green long flowing dress, and she looked $1 million. Her hair was grey and it was cut off really short, but she was stunning. She stood out in the whole place like a beacon of light, you know, and her vibrancy and her personality. And I just thought, there you go, that's an example of somebody who's being beautifully confident. You know, she was so at home in herself, and I talked to her later, and she turned out she was a librarian. Would you believe it? I said, librarian. I said, oh my God, you are incredible. Like, you're an artist or something. But I said, you are an inner artist, because look at you, you know. And then she ended up, she was starting her own business, and that's why she was joined the business network. And I said, absolutely. So she started into art and design and things like that. So I was encouraging her, but it was incredible, you know, how, again, I was attracted to her, you know, when we read over, and I was wanting to help her and different things, and we became great friends. But it was a fantastic testament to her just being herself, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah,
I love that. Yes.
That's exactly, and the work, like the way we want to do, again, you know, I was thinking about how many functions and how many places that women have to show up to, especially when they're professionals and they're wanting to level up into their next, you know, I suppose their next era of their life. And like you say, when you're going through a transition and you're changing, I've met so many women at this stage now where, you know, you're getting to a different decade. So, you know, you might be from 40 to 50 or from 50 to 60. You go through you become disillusioned with who you are, and you have to ask that question again, who am I now?
Well, we're not 20 anymore.
Yeah.
So we were one person. I mean, you know, when you get to a certain age where, and I think it does start at 40s. I mean, I remember at 40s, that's when I rebuilt myself and redesigned who I was. Like I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
But then turning into my 50s and now getting closer to 60, I think about how much wiser we are, how much experiences we've had, and looking back at what I've done. And like, this is, anybody can relate to this. It's like, look back at your life and what you've done and some of the experiences and the learnings as well. We've had so many learnings over the years. It's like, okay, who am I today? Who am I? Because I am a lot wiser and I've had so many learnings. I am a different person. How do I express that in how I appear and how I show up? You know, and that
I love that today. And because sometimes we can go back and feel like we should be trying to recreate who we were in our 20s or in our 30s, you know. We're never going to be that person. We're not the same. Our body's changed, you know. We've got so much more wisdom, and to really start to value ourselves. And that's where it comes to as well, is in feeling beautifully confident, is that we start to have that self-worth for the life we've lived, who we've become, everything that we bring in our presence when we walk into a room. You know, there's a richness that we bring as more mature women that is hugely beneficial, massively. You know, it's not celebrated enough, and I think it is something that is completely different feeling in essence to, you know, younger women. I know from working with, because I've trained 400 design students at this stage, you know, and it's funny how, you know, they're so young and beautiful and everything like that, but also they always look up to me because they see confidence and the years of experience, and I come in dressed up and everything, and they all start matching me then what I'm wearing because they don't know how to wear to dress, you know, professionally, and they'll end up like, I never tell them like you know, you should dress a certain way for work or anything, but they'll just start matching the way I dress, which is interesting. So you're role modeling to the younger generation is a point that I'm making as well, that as a leader, when I talked about leadership through Flourish by Design, that as feminine leaders, you know, we're so powerful in how we show up and how we're guiding the next generation in a way that they can value themselves, not just from a sexual identity, which is always put out there on Instagram, that from that, you know, beautiful feminine expression of just who women are naturally in their energy, you know, and their confidence, and how they can make decisions that are based around empathy and caring for people. It's so important to value who women are, you know, and for us to spend a little time contemplating that, you know, when we're in those transitions. And that's what we would love to kind of help women to accentuate, we'll say, you know, because we talked about, like we were talking about during the week, about the movement, you know, and like talking about when we're wearing something that is flowing and has color, and the power of all of that sometimes we don't take into consideration. We think it should be sexy, and, you know, there's a lot more that can be done, isn't there?
Yeah, sexy can look it can look really different. Different people look at sexy differently, but you can create that look in so many different ways. But I truly believe sexy comes from within. We can dress sexy.
Confidence is sexy. Confidence is sexy.
It really is. I truly believe that, because there's so many different ways of dressing sexy. You could be, you know, wearing a short mini skirt and a low cut top. Yes, that's very sexy. But you can also dress, like I was saying the other day, a gorgeous gown where you're showing your shoulders, which is it's an erogenous zone, this area here. It's very, very sexy. And it could be a fitted long gown, which looks absolutely stunning, but extremely sexy. So it's really thinking about, what type of sexy do you want to be? Who are you? We're all different sexy. Like, you know, I love my little mini skirts, but I don't wear them with high heels. Like I said, I wear boots and stuff like that. So it's a different type.
Yeah, it's like a fun sexy.
Yeah. So I'm the fun sexy type person.
Yeah. I'm a bit fun sexy too.
No, that's me. I have no idea. But, you know, women don't really understand that there's so many different ways to be sexy, and really think about the body shape and your body shape. I mean, you might have gorgeous, sexy legs, and you can really You don't have to wear a short skirt to show your sexy legs. You can wear a nice long gown with a big split in the middle or down the side where your leg comes out and you just go, hello, I'm here. Right away. So that can be sexy. There's lots of things, or a low back top, because the back can be quite sexy. Yeah, there's lots of ways to think about all of these things.
It's true, kind of an elegant sexy. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it can be, just revealing in an area that you wouldn't expect, like the back, or whatever, or like you say, the arms or slits. I love anything with like the slits, the arms, or something. Sometimes it's I like those. I love those tops, like where you kind of just have the arms showing or something like that.
Or,
exactly. The different shapes, and it's how you choose. So, but I was talking about, I was helping a friend of mine at just doing the Beautifully Confident program with her, because she was going to a function. I was telling Kat about. So something like this. There's a professional woman. She's a mutual friend of ours. Had invested an awful lot of money in going away to a conference for 3 days, and it was a lot of high-end leaders at it. So she was really looking for help around what should I wear each day, because she was going to be, that first impression on the first day. Then what would I wear at the evening, like you're talking, the evening dress? What would I wear? Then she was going to be pitching, so she's going to be on stage. What will I wear when I'm stage? And all of these points where we had to really consider exactly who she was, what she felt she needed to wear, and then who she actually was and how she wanted to show up authentically. So from a branding, because I've worked with her on our branding, so I was keeping her true to her brand, but also expressing that in her clothing. And she texted, she's still at it, but the first day she had amazing success. And she went completely differently. Normally she would wear black and she would cover up and play it safe. And she wore this gorgeous coral pink blazer jacket, and she said she attracted in the person that she was actually wanting to speak to. She thought, how am I going to go out and talk to this person at a networking event? And she was getting nervous about it, but actually it turned out they approached her, and she got the contact. Yeah, exactly. So each day it was really helping. And today's the last day. So it's interesting how it's really given her that confidence. And then also allowing her to understand that she doesn't have to work so hard, that she can attract success to her when she just shows up authentically in herself, Yeah.
Very true. I'm going to say, if this sounds like you, like whoever's listening to this, if this sounds like you, you need help in that area and in looking confident, feeling confident, and even doing what you did, Caroline, with your friend, where you've got a big event coming up and you're really not 100% sure what is going to work for you, but keeping it authentic to you, who you truly are, and not masking yourself. You don't want to mask yourself. You want to be true to yourself, because when you are true to yourself, that's when you perform your best. You actually, and that's when you attract. It's like this person, and I know this person, she has a I mean, I'm all about manifestation, but when you manifest it within yourself and you're working from your internally and then you're showing through on the outside, you will attract what you need to attract. You will attract. It could be that job that you're going for. It could be a new business that you might start, or being on stage, like going to a conference and being on stage. Or it could be a man or a female.
Yeah.
I've had that, which that's another story for another time. But if this sounds like you, well, it's actually someone else has had that. I'm looking right at you.
Don't give any secrets away now, Kat. But it does work.
It does work. But if this sounds like you, we are going to be running a 3-day workshop, and that's going to be starting on, I'm just trying to think of the dates, 14th, 15th and 16th. We haven't decided on time yet, because I'm from Melbourne, Australia. You can hear it from my accent if you're part of another side of the world. Carolyn, who's from Ireland, Dublin.
Yeah, from Dublin.
Irish.
So we have to work out the time zones, and I just making sure.
Yes, sorry.
And the Aussies love to get up early, and the Irish people are like late time, but we don't want to get, we want to work around, your schedule. So we'll have a link either above or below this post within the description, and we would love to invite you in to, do a beautiful pop-up workshop with us around Beautifully Confident. We'd absolutely love that, because we want to introduce you to the woman behind all the expectations, and just to get to know the true you.
Absolutely. So grab a cup of tea. If you know someone who needs this, make sure they're on with you.
Yes.
That way you can talk about it afterwards and exchange ideas and what you learned. What was your take from it?
Yeah.
And bring them on board. And
we're really excited about this, because we want to get everyone feeling beautifully confident. That's our goal, isn't it, Kat?
Absolutely, 100%. I love seeing women out there confident and doing what they do best, creating
magic,
whatever that they want to create. Magic. Let's say magic. What's that song? There's a song out there. Oh, now I've forgotten. It's gone.
Well, the song I think that's for these is Your True Colors, the Cyndi Lauper song.
Yeah.
True colors are beautiful as a rainbow.
Yes. I knew I needed you. We're connected on colours. That's why we work so well together.
Oh, yeah. It's all about colour. And we're complementary colours today, the pink and the orange. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in the workshop. So, girls, please come in, and we would love to help you with whatever your challenges are at the moment, whether you're going for an interview, you want to redesign who you are, you want to connect back in. We've done it. We've been there. We've worn the T-shirt. We've done the whole thing. We redesigned ourselves so many different times, and we're here to help you. So I'd love to see you there, guys. We'll see you and talk to you again. And we might not do another one of these, because it was great fun. I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much, Katerina. Bye.